welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are going to continue working with the Haunts and Harvest September 2021 paper pumpkin kit. This is the first of the outside the box cards. I have used elements from the kit, the die cut flowers. The background of this greeting is actually one of the panels from the boxes. I cut one of the boxes up to do that. What I've done is I have used the Evening Evergreen ink to stamp the veins on the flowers and to stamp the greeting. The card is on an Evening Evergreen base with a soft succulent mat, and the soft succulent mat is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a piece of basic white cut to 5 by 3 3/4 that I'm going to run through the Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder. Now, you may notice on the card, I'll hold it up close so you can see, it's embossed, then it's not, and then it's embossed again. And there's a nice border along the edge of the embossing. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And I've pre-done everything else in the card so that we can just get going. And I can show you how I actually created the front of the card. So, and I didn't measure anything. I just kind of did my usual wing in it. But I opened up the folder and I just placed the paper in. I'm just going to use the other card as a measure. Just far enough so that I knew I had a gap at the bottom, and tried then to make it kind of central so the embossing came even on both sides. So, and what I did is I lined up the embossing folder with the platform and then made sure that the card kind of lined up with the platform as well, so that I knew it was level and my embossing wasn't going to be wonky. So then I layer that up and I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine. And then I'll show you how I get the gap in it. So you run the whole thing through. And there you go. You get that hard edge popping out. Okay, so what you'll see now is the top portion of the card is embossed. So now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to line up the bottom. So make sure I'm in frame for you here. So there's my embossing folder, and I'm going to line up the bottom in the middle of the base so that I've got the gap that I want to put my greeting in. So, and that's probably a little big, so I'm just going to put that in, make sure that it's straight, and I can use the black line along the bottom of the embossing folder with the edge of my paper to make sure it's even. And then I sandwich it up and I run it through the cut and emboss again. So let's get that done, and then I will show you the magic of the border. So what you can see is I've got the top embossed, the bottom embossed, and it's not quite as deep as my example, but it will still work just fine. But there's no, you can see there's a distinct line here. There's no line on this one. So I will show you how I get the line. And what I do is I pull over my paper trimmer. I turn my paper over and I line it up so that the edge of the embossing is in line with the trough on my embossing and the trough on my paper trimmer. And then I just run my scoring tool back and forth and I get that line. And then I do the same thing on the other side. Again, line it up with that trough and then run the scoring tool back and forth. And you can see it creates that line. So that's how I do the embossing with a gap in it. So I emboss the top, I emboss the bottom, and then I use the scoring tool on my paper trimmer to create that hard edge, which I really like that edge. It so defines everything. So I'm going to basically put the card together now. I'm just going to take my soft succulent that's cut 5 1/4 by 4, put it on my evening evergreen card base, centering it and layering it down. And then I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal to adhere the embossed part to the whole card here. And let's just drop that down. There we go. Now, as I said, I trimmed one of the boxes down to make the mat for this, and I've stamped this in the evening evergreen. I really wanted to pull the evening evergreen into this because I think it goes so well with the soft succulent. I am just going to mat this on here like this, and then it gets flat adhered, no dimensionals, into the blank space where there's no embossing. We're just going to put that down. And then I've got the leaves, and I've got dimensionals on the back of the larger leaves, and this one, the smaller leaf, I'm just going to put down flat. So I put that down straight out from the end like that, and then I take my leaves and I put them over top of that edge. And I'm just going to tuck the stem of that one underneath like that. And there we go. So there is a thank you card using elements from the September 2021 Paper Pumpkin Haunts and Harvest kit, along with the Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more outside the box cards.